hired a guy named Robert May to write a. Robert May wanted to be a novelist, but instead he ended up writing catalog. He was a catalog writer at Montgomery Ward in Chicago, and the department store used to give away books to kids at Christmas time. And they wanted to give away a book to kids, so they asked him to write a book for kids. And he wrote a story about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Right. Okay.
And there's a story in NPR about interviewing his daughter, who remembered her dad writing the book and all kinds of words in the book and phrases in the book that never made it into the song that we now know.
Okay.
So I've arranged for none other than our very own Carly to sing some of the original lyrics from the original song.
Okay. I'm curious to hear this. To the best
Carly,
of my ability. Yeah.
So Carly?
Yep.
So you sing the lyrics like line by line, and when you get, and I'll kind of correct you as you go, and I'll read to you from the original song.
Okay.
But
I'm starting with you.
Well, I'll tell you the lyrics.
Okay.
I'll tell you the lyrics. Hang on. I'll tell you the lyrics, and then you can kind of like revise the line.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're starting from
right.
You Know Dasher and Dancer?
Start at the beginning.
Okay. You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Anything yet?
Except he didn't say famous. He didn't say famous. Oh. It was the most amazing and true to himself reindeer of all. True to herself, because Rudolph was a girl, not a boy. This is another one of the things that modern society tried to whitewash out. Robbing Rudolph of her gender.
Okay, the most amazing and what?
True to herself reindeer of all.
Okay. The most amazing and true to herself reindeer of all. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. Anything there?
Keep going.
All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names.
Her. Call her name.
Her. Well, I assumed, but you asked me to sing the originals. Okay. Used to laugh and call her names. They never
all the other asshole reindeer.
Oh man, Arjun. All right, okay. All of the asshole reindeer used to laugh and call her names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Keep going?
Keep going.
Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa
when they finally needed her. When they finally needed her.
Then one foggy Christmas Eve, when they finally needed her, Santa came to say.
Because Santa stood by and watched the other reindeer treat Rudolph like shit because he's an asshole too.
I do not know how to put that in that line, Arjun.
15 seconds.
Oh, Arjun, you're slowly taking away. With your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him.
No.
Out.
Welcome to 12 Days of Law Firm Growth, the show for law firm owners who are serious about growing their business, maximizing profits, and reaching their true potential. And now, let's get started.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
Full of merriment and cheer.
12 days of law firm growth. My name is Arjan Robbins. Today I have as my guest none other than Tanya Effin Music.
Hi
And
there.
we are on what night of Christmas tonight?
The 9th night of Christmas.
The 9th night of Christmas,
Mhm.
right? So just to set expectations, we are going to share some lessons with you in this episode. We share lessons with you in every episode to help you build a more successful law firm, a law firm that makes more gross revenue, a law firm that makes more net operating income, a law firm that brings in the clients more predictably, more reliably. And there's like dozens and dozens of ways to measure legitimate growth in a law firm. And we are going to try to cover as many of those as we can to give you practical, useful, real-world lessons and tips. So my name is Arjan Robbins, but you probably don't know who I am, and you probably don't care who I am yet because you just want to know what's in it for me in this show. And I'll introduce myself in a minute, and Tanya will introduce herself in a minute. But Tanya, first, why don't you kick it off by letting us know you picked a clip, and how is this clip going to help owners of law firms in the audience who are going to listen and maybe or maybe not do something with the lesson in this clip? How is the lesson going to help someone who listens, nods their head and says, hot damn, that's great advice, I should do that, and then doesn't do shit with it all year long? How is it going to help them then?
It's not going to help them at all. Because if you know it, but you do nothing with it, it's kind of useless. But for the ones who listen and decide to start acting on it, this clip, and I don't want to give too much away, but
No, just tell them the benefits. Just tell them the outcome. If it was a magic pill and they took the magic pill, what problems would it make go away?
They're going to need to rely less on their marketing and still end up with more clients, and they're going to help more people, clients and non-clients. They will help more people overall.
Okay, so my name is Arjan Robbins. I'm the founder and president of How to Manage a Small Law Firm. I learned all the same things in law school that you probably learned in law school about the business of running a law firm, which is nothing. I ended up at the Florida Bar, the Law Office Management Assistance Service, where it is a documented fact in Florida Bar records that I had the opportunity to work with thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of owners of small law firms on every aspect of starting, marketing, managing, buying, selling, growing a law firm that you can possibly imagine. A lot of people talk a lot of shit about how many people they've helped. I got the goods. I got the data. I got the stats. Anyway, I created How to Manage a Small Law Firm. Oh my God, I totally blanked when. What is it? 2009, 2008, 2007, something like that. I created How to Manage a Small Law Firm. And long story short, today we are the largest, the fastest growing, and by far, I would say, the most successful provider of outside fractional timeshare CEO, COO, CFO, and now CMO services. We help to manage over 600 of some of the most successful, fastest growing, most profitable law firms you can possibly even imagine exist. Our biggest challenging in marketing is that people don't believe that what we do is even possible, and it's just another day at the office for us. Tanya Music is on our team, and I asked her to grab a clip and share it, and we're gonna listen to the clip, and then we're gonna dissect the clip and talk about the clip and see what we can learn from the clip and see where the conversation goes to help you grow your law firm. I don't know what the clip is. I've never seen the. I mean, I'm in the clip, but I don't know what clip they picked. They could. We've been doing this for. We have thousands and thousands of clips. We have like thousands of hours of content. We have so much content that we give away more content for free every month than most coaching businesses sell in their entire time in business. And that's not an exaggeration. We will give you so much free content. We will give you free content. We'll give you free lessons. We will give you free resources. We will give you free coaching. We will give you free workshops. We will give you so much free stuff because we have a waiting list. We've had a waiting list for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
And so just basically, you get on the waiting list and we start giving you free stuff, giving you free resources, helping you for free. And then when a spot becomes open on the waiting list, you either jump on it and bam, the rocket takes off to the moon, or you take a pass if the time isn't right for you. And there's probably at that point a lot of people behind you who jump on the spot, and you can stay on the waiting list as long as you want. Anyway, long story short, Tanya, why don't you explain briefly what you do around here? I mean, that could be like a whole show, what you do around here.
But yeah, I do what needs to be done.
You've been with How to Manage for how long?
6 years.
You've been with us for 6 years.
6 years. I started as a CEO.
You started as one of our fractional CEOs.
Yep. And then I moved into member progress. So working with the entire membership to make sure they were getting what they needed and implementing.
Riding herd on them to make sure that they're making progress, right? We don't just like teach you and hope for the best. We are the CEO of your law firm, which means we have a vested interest in making sure that your law firm helps you achieve your financial goals, helps you achieve your personal goals, helps you achieve your professional goals. And this is just part of the reason we've got a waiting list, because we get so many. Most of our business comes by way of referral. And anyway, we got nothing to sell you here today, just so you know. We're just giving away free stuff during the holidays because we thought that would be a cool thing to do. And after 9 days in a row of doing this, let's just say some of us are getting a little crusty.
And you're not talking about me.
Well, no, because this is your first time on the show, right?
Yeah.
But like we get a very small live audience, but we get like a massive audience of people who listen to the show after it's been when it's in recorded form. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I mean, Arjan, you said we get most of our members from referrals. I don't think people understand. We get like 80% of our members from referrals of existing and past members. We get members who have gone on, they've shut their law firms, they're doing other stuff, still refer business to us because the lessons that they took while they were here have helped them move into a new business or into it's insane. We have so many people who send people our way, which is why you've had me taking care of referrals for the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the clip is going to help them get more bang for the marketing buck. Is that what you're saying?
It's going to, yes, more bang for the marketing buck. Absolutely. But I promise you, It's not a clip about marketing.
It's not about marketing?
Mm-mm.
All right. It's not about the latest fad. Let's all do Clubhouse.
It is not. No.
I jumped on the Clubhouse bandwagon. And then I fell off the Clubhouse. I jumped on the Clubhouse bandwagon, and then I fell off the Clubhouse bandwagon into a pile of shit.
Hey, fail fast, fail often, right?
That's right. That is great advice for building any kind of a successful business, especially a law firm. There's really only two things that you can't fuck up when you're managing your law firm and growing your law firm. One is your statute of limitations. No, people fuck up their trust account all the time. All the time. It is a total fallacy that if you make a single mistake with your trust account, you're going to suddenly lose your bar license or even get suspended. That is completely false. That is totally not true. There's only two things you can really fuck up and get really in trouble that you can't fix. One is statute of limitations. If you blow a statute of limitations, that's it. You can't turn back the hands of time. It's over. You blew it.
Okay.
Everything else you can appeal. Everything else you can appeal. Everything else you can amend. Everything else you can apologize. Everything else you can negotiate. Everything else you can write a check to make it go away. You blow a statute of limitations until someone invents time travel, you are screwed. You can't fix it, right? And the second thing is, if and when you get a complaint from the bar, you got to respond. You got to timely respond. I used to work at the Florida bar, and the number of times that I would go to lunch with the prosecutors and be like, why didn't this idiot just fucking respond? If they just responded, he wouldn't have lost his license or just get suspended. But instead, they hide. They get embarrassed, they get ashamed, they get afraid, and they hide instead of respond. Anyway, that's a different show. That's a different conversation. Let's see the clip. And okay, so I'm supposed to guess where and when this took place. Hang on.
In case you're wondering,
I
that
know
is
when this is. No, I know exactly when this is. I know when this is. I know where this is. I know some of the people in the audience.
Mhm. Okay, so
So let me just say that that clip was 2010 or 2011.
2011.
Okay, then it was sometime like mid 2011.
Mm-hmm. July.
It was that was our second or third live quarterly meeting. Nowadays our live quarterly meetings have like 700 people in the room. That had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe 25 or 30, maybe 40 people in the room.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And that was a live quarterly meeting. And that was, by the way, in one of my favorite hotels. It's now been acquired by another brand and they ruined it. It used to be called the Sonesta Hotel in Coconut Grove.
Do you remember what the topic of the LQM was?
No, I can't tell that from what I'm looking at. But remember how I talked about how in the early days, the first 2 or 3 live quarterly meetings, how they were so low budget?
Yeah.
That I did it with an overhead projector?
Yeah.
That's the overhead projector.
Okay. Oh, I see that. Yeah.
It's an old school overhead projector. You know, I tell people all the time, never judge your beginning by someone else's middle. That was my beginning. That was like my second or third live quarterly meeting. Nowadays, we've got a truck that shows up with the AV equipment. We've got a whole AV team. They've got pipes and drapes and stages, and they're hanging stuff from the ceiling. And we got 700 people in the room. But that's how it starts. That's how every great thing starts. Every great thing starts like low. Every great thing starts like that. Starts looking like crap. If you're not, I mean, I'm not embarrassed by that because I'm very proud of the fact that I had the courage. I'm very proud of the fact that that man, who's not even me anymore, right? I can hardly remember that man's life, but I am so grateful to him for having the courage to be willing to do a live quarterly meeting like that so that I could have the life that I get to have today. Is that what the clip's about?
That is not, well, the clip does talk about helping people achieve the life they want to live, but no, that's not what the clip's about.
All right, so before we roll the clip, I just want to invite Q&A. We got people live. Write your questions. I don't know if we've got questions from people who listen to the recorded version. We're always inviting people. If you're listening to the recorded version, send in your questions, and we're happy to answer your questions. If you don't give us permission to use your name, we won't. If you do, if you do give us permission to use your name, I'd love to use your name to let people know that you're like a real lawyer with a real law firm with a real question, that we're not some pathetic losers who have to like make shit up. I hate when people do that. Like they put testimonials and they're like, JC. Yeah, right. I don't believe that. You know, one of the things, like, I hate clip art. Like on our websites, if any picture you see on the How to Manage a Small Law Firm website, anything you see, those are real live pictures of our real live events and our real live members. No fake BS.
Well, and there's no shortage of it, right? Like you go to our Facebook of members and stories that we can share that we would have to make them up.
You know, I was talking to a really amazing trial lawyer once, and he taught me the value of authenticity. And he said, look, the jury is used to seeing, when you're driving down the street and you see a picture of a McDonald's cheeseburger on the billboard and you're like, ooh, that looks tasty, or French fries or whatever. That is a piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
That's a piece of foam. That is not an actual cheeseburger, right? Because an actual cheeseburger doesn't look like that.
Mm-mm.
Right?
Never.
And what he taught me is a really great trial lawyer lets the jury in on the truth and like makes the jury feel like they have insider knowledge because they can see like behind the scenes as to what's really going on. This is the beautiful fake airbrushed cardboard cheeseburger. This is the real thing. This is the truth. This is the reality. Anyway, he taught me that reality sells better than an idealized version of reality. And that's very counterintuitive because most people think that an idealized version of reality sells better because that's what they see everyone using in their marketing. But, our marketing budget is like a fraction. We've grown our business over 10,000% in the last 10 years. With a marketing budget that's like a fraction of what most people spend on marketing. And it's not just because, we're so great, we do such great work. No, the real reason is because we're so truthful and honest with people about what it's really going to be like to work with us. And people are so unused to experiencing authenticity. They're so unused to someone being willing to show them the good, the bad, and the ugly and say, this is the reality of what it's going to be like, that it vibrates at a completely different frequency. And then the beautiful thing is when someone doesn't buy after you've shown them the truth, you save a ton of money. You keep looking like you want to say something.
Because you're getting really close to what the clip's about. Like you're so close to it and we haven't even watched the clip yet.
Well, I've been saying the same thing for fucking ever. I mean, I've been saying the same thing. I've been saying the same stuff. Look, I've learned a lot. I've gotten better. I've learned a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I said that I don't say anymore. But the core essence of how to build a wildly successful law firm, I learned from the best people in the world. I learned from people who have built more successful law firms than anyone alive today, right? Unfortunately, they're not alive anymore. Fortunately, they were my mentors before they passed, and they taught me what people have been figuring out and testing and refining and learning about the practical realities of how to build a successful law firm for decades and decades and decades. Before they had social media, people were starting, marketing, managing, buying, building successful law firms. Before they had the internet, people were starting, marketing, managing, buying, and running highly successful law firms. Before they had computers, people were starting, marketing, managing, buying, selling successful law firms. People have been starting, marketing, managing, and growing successful law firms for like literally more than 1,000 years. And the basic fundamentals have not changed. In 1,000 years, the basic fundamentals of how you manage a successful law firm have not changed. And I learned this from some of the best in the business who were legends for decades and decades. These people were legends. They were doing law firm management from the 70s and 80s and 90s before they met me in 1999 and started teaching me and mentoring me. And so, it doesn't surprise me when someone says, wow, you've been saying the same thing for a long time. No shit, because I'm teaching the fundamentals. I'm not teaching the latest fads. And again, I think this is part of the reason that we have so much success with our members, because things come and go and come and go and come and go. And there's people in that picture from 2011 or 2012 who are still members.
Yep. It resonates with me so much, right? Because I'm not a lawyer. I didn't come from law school, but what you teach in this clip is something that I hold true and I've believed throughout my professional career, and it's so beneficial. So what do you say? You want to watch? I think we should go to the clip. Okay, let's play the clip.
The most professional, the most ethical thing you can do is to get really good at selling legal services. And that if you're going to be a superstar of selling legal services, you have to leave the bar rules so far in the dust below you. You have to elevate yourself, I should say, so far above the bar rules. Like the bar rules are down here. Rules of professionalism, down here. Rules of ethics, down here. Rules of being a really great seller of legal services when you do it the way you're going to learn to do it this weekend. I have to get on a chair to stand up to reach the standards that I'm going to teach you to keep. All right? Because people who are selling legal services in compliance with the bar rules, right? That's the bare minimum. They're just like, what do I do so I don't get into trouble? People who are selling legal services and you go to the bar rules at the CLE program where we met, and they're up there preaching about ethics rules and professionalism rules, that's like here. That's like, basically, how do I make myself feel better? How do I say, oh, look at how great I am, that I'm all this professionalism. But if you're really, truly, sincerely going to give your clients love, going to give your clients security, going to give your clients self-esteem, which are the three components to building a multi-million-dollar practice, is using your law firm as a vehicle to give your clients love, security, and self-esteem. You have to be prepared to go way above and beyond the rules of ethics and professionalism. And that's what we're going to be doing this weekend. And I'll show you the mechanics of how to do it. All right? So let's get to it.
So your hair and your
I
clothes.
could have taught that same lesson yesterday.
Where were you teaching it yesterday?
I said I could have taught that same lesson yesterday. It's just as applicable today as it was in 2011 or 2012, whenever you said I taught it.
Yeah. And
that lesson has been applicable for 1,000 years. For 1,000 years, people have been applying what's in that clip to build more successful businesses, including more successful law firms. And I don't think that we're going to see the applicability or relevance of that lesson change, at least not in our lifetime. Wherever you're using your business to give your prospective new clients love, give your prospective new clients security, and or give your prospective new clients self-esteem, that's where your business is going to thrive, right? Wherever you're using your business to get love or get security or get self-esteem, that's where you're always going to have problems in your business. It's very, very, very predictable. The hell is Delisi doing watching this? Delisi's supposed to be sick in bed.
She's asking
but I'm not answering her question because she's sick in bed.
Okay.
We're going to pretend like she's not here because she's sick. Not rewarding bad behavior.
Which is fair.
This is my chief of staff who texted like, I'm going to have to go to the clinic because I'm sick. I won't be working tomorrow. And then get in bed. Turn off the computer.
Well,
I'm still sick, but still care. Yes, and we care about you, which is why we want you to get better. So, not going to indulge your questions.
Okay, so Also, you know she's sick because she misspelled care. Let's talk about this whole concept of giving your prospects or your clients love and self-esteem. Like I said, it was going to help you get bigger bang for your buck in marketing because I believe that's true, but nobody else is making
will.
that connection.
It will. You could spend a lot less money on marketing
Why?
if you apply this and get much better ROI.
How?
Okay, this is very simple. I don't know what we're going to talk about for the next half hour because this is so simple.
Okay. You know what though? It's simple for you. For some people who don't do this, for lawyers who are not notoriously known for their awesome sales ability, quite honestly, it's not that freaking simple.
Well, first off, we're talking about marketing, we're talking about sales because lawyers tend to be terrible at both.
I was going to keep my punches down. It is the season.
I went to law school. Look, I know why we as lawyers were literally taught to be bad at marketing. And we as lawyers were literally taught to be terrible at sales. Law school had a class entitled How to Be Horrible at Marketing and How to Be Horrible at Sales. And we all took it. It was mandatory to get out of law school. And that's why lawyers are terrible at marketing and terrible at sales, right? To get good grades in law school, you have to spot issues, right? And so what lawyers love to do when they have a sales call with a prospective new client is they love to get their self-esteem. They love to say, oh, great, an opportunity for me to get my self-esteem. I'll get a good grade. And the client presents the fact pattern, presents the issues, right? And lawyer issue spots, just like we did in law school to get a good grade in law school on the blue book. We spot all the issues, and then we turn in the work to the professor, and we say, Professor, did I do a good job? Do I get a good grade? Will you please hire my law firm? That's essentially what lawyers are saying, right? And they're completely missing the point of how you should sell legal services. But the point of the clip, which is the point of, which is the marketing side of this, is very, very, very simple. And I've been teaching this to lawyers for holy crap since like 1999 or 2000 when I first learned it from my mentors, and no one listens. Very few people listen. So I'll say it again. Maybe someone will listen this time. You ready?
Listening.
I know you're going to listen. The sooner you start treating a prospective new client as if they were already a client, the easier it will be for them to see themselves as a client. And then becoming a client won't be so scary to them. And you'll have an easier, smoother transition from prospective client to happy paying client who ends up probably referring you a bunch of business. Think of it like the expressway on-ramp, right? The way most lawyers do this, the way most lawyers do sales, they're so afraid of being taken advantage of. They're so afraid of being ripped off. They're so afraid of being made the fool of that they make a fool of themselves by doing this badly over and over and over and over again. Imagine you got the expressway and everyone's cruising along at 75 miles an hour, zoom, 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 the traffic going, right? And you're from a standstill, you got to merge in with traffic. Imagine how scary that would be. Imagine how terrifying that would be. Imagine how much effort that would take, right? That's how most law firms treat their marketing. Compare that to the way that we do our marketing, which I've already explained. You have a conversation with us. We have a conversation with you. The conversation isn't about how great we are. It isn't about how wonderful we are. It isn't about how terrific we are. The conversation is all about the one thing you care about, which is you. You don't care about us. You care about you. So the conversation is all about where are you right now with your law firm? Where are you right now with your law firm in terms of its financial performance, in terms of how it's handled, about the impact it's having on your personal life, and what it's doing to you or for you professionally? Where are you today with your law firm? Where would you rather be? I'm sorry, how do you feel about being where you are today with your law firm? Do you love it? Are you happy with it? Are you content? Are you thrilled? Probably not, or you wouldn't be looking for a way to make it better, right? This isn't like a gotcha. This is just, we're having a conversation like normal people, right? If you were really happy about everything going on in your law firm, you wouldn't be out looking for a way to make it better. That's okay. Now, let's talk about what you'd like to have be better. If I could wave a magic wand and tap you on the head, what would you like to change about the financial performance of your law firm? What would you like to change about the personal performance of your law firm? What would you like to change about the professional performance of your law firm? In other words, what would you like to do? Would you like to change about how the law firm affects your personal life? What would you like to change about what the law firm does to you or for you professionally? Okay, great. So this is where you are now. This is where you want to be, and this is how you feel about being where you are. This is how you think you'd feel about being where you want to be. Great. And where do you think you're likely to wind up in 12 months, in 18 months, if you keep doing things the way you're doing it? If you keep running your law firm without a written business plan, if you keep running your law firm without a marketing plan that has a budget and KPIs behind it, if you keep running your law firm without a sales strategy to convert prospective clients into paying clients, if you keep running your law firm without documented processes and systems and procedures, if you keep running your law firm without any key performance indicators and any way of properly onboarding, training, managing, and make a profit with your staff, if you keep running your law firm without financial controls, if you keep doing that, instead of being where you are right now, do you think you'll be in that better place that you want to be in the future? Or do you think that you'll go to a worse place and things will get worse than they already are? Well, this isn't us trying to tell you anything. We're just asking you questions and guiding you through, sort of a very loving, caring, thoughtful, considerate, empathetic conversation to help you get clarity about what's going on, and so you can make a decision. Now, at the end of it, and there's more to the conversation, but at the end of it, you make a simple decision based on everything you've heard. Do you want us to help you or not? Do you want to make a change or not? If you don't want to make a change, if you don't want to make things better, then you don't need anyone's help, including you don't need our help. Nice to meet you. Goodbye. If you do want to make a change, now the question is, do you want us to help you? If you want us to help you, you get on the waiting list, and here's all the stuff that we can do for you for free just to help you out while you're on the waiting list. Imagine you're online to get into an amazing restaurant, and while you're online, they give you like hot chocolate, and they give you like a little snack, a little morsel, a little tidbit to whet your appetite. If the hot chocolate tastes like crap, and if you don't like the little morsel, you're not going to like the food inside, right? But if the hot chocolate is like just delicious, and if the morsel is just like, oh my God, it's just, I got to have more of that, well, then you're going to have a pretty good idea that you like what's inside even more, right? The sooner you can start treating your prospective clients in your marketing as if they were already a client of your firm, giving them some real value, actually helping them get clarity, helping them make sense, helping them have a little more peace of mind. The sooner you can start doing that, the sooner they will get over that fear factor, and you'll have an easier time converting them into a paying client. And oh, by the way, if they're getting unruly online, if they're really being a jerk online and they're disrupting all the other prospects who are on the waiting list to get into the restaurant, for example, then you don't let them in, right? Because you know what's going to happen when you get them in the door. You're going to have a problem. So you just say, hey, you know what? You are not behaving well online, so we're going to ask you to please go somewhere else. Get out of here. Tanya,
Yeah.
this is pretty simple, right?
I mean, it's really straightforward, but when you're talking to people, and especially looking at the sales component, because this LQM was all about taking prospects and turning them into clients. So part of it's the marketing. Marketing doesn't stop the minute you get a lead, right? I think too many
Marketing
business
doesn't
people-
stop, even if you're really smart, if you really want to have really reliable, predictable enough income to have the guts to be able to say no thank you to the wrong clients, or no thank you, let us help you find a different solution, when a great person comes to you with the wrong kind of case or matter that your business just isn't equipped to deal with. Your marketing doesn't even stop after the case is over. You keep that relationship going. You keep the marketing going. You keep building and maintaining and cultivating the relationship, because even the former client could be a repeat client. They could be a referral source. There's a million ways, maybe not a million, but there's lots and lots of ways that a former client in any practice area, I dare anyone with any practice area to tell me how this doesn't apply to your practice area, because it does, it does, it does, it does, it does. There is no practice area where this doesn't apply. And if you do this, there we go. What's the question say? How to structure flat fees for a family law practice. Okay, a little off topic, but we can get to that. Don't let me forget that. Are there any questions about what I just said? I just threw down a gauntlet. I just challenged you that there's no practice area where you can't logically, intelligently, thoughtfully, professionally, ethically, and highly profitably keep the marketing going even after someone's case or matter has concluded. You raise your hand, and I want to make sure we get to that question before we're done today.
Well, I know, because I've heard lawyers say to me, probate, they're dead.
Oh God, they're not the client. The client is their family. Their client is their family. This is like the real estate lawyers. This is like the broke, struggling real estate lawyers who can't get it in through their head that the client isn't the person buying or selling the real estate. The client is really the realtor who controls the flow of business to you. I mean, obviously you owe the ethical duties to the technical client, the person who bar rules would identify as the client, but kind of use your head. The real person who you're building and cultivating that relationship with is the realtor. Oh, by the way, and after the person buys the house, there's all kinds of things that person still needs. They need an insurance agent. They need a gardener. They need a mover. They need an interior decorator. They need a handyman. There's a ton of stuff that they need that you are in a position to help them with if you really give a shit about the person who you just help them conduct a closing on the house that they bought. Well, what if I represent the seller? Oh my God, where are they going? They're not beaming off the planet, right? They're going somewhere to do something else with the rest of their life that you can help them with too. So probate, yes, the technical, I mean, the person's dead, but the person has a family, right? And that family has maybe come into, a large sum of money and other assets that they need to deal with. Now everyone in the family has become painfully aware of how fucked up things get if they don't have an estate plan, right? Now they understand why they need to have life insurance. Now they understand why they need to have a better relationship with a banker. Now they understand why they have to get their business succession plans organized. Now they understand why all the crap that they had to deal with in probate, you are now in a position to help them fix in their own life so that the horrors of probate doesn't land on the lap of their own children. So, yeah, the marketing shouldn't end with probate either. Hang on, someone just wrote something. I can't see without my glasses here.
It says, completely agree. I take a long time with prospective clients explaining and listening to them. They say, we trust you and will use you, but then they don't want to hire immediately. How do you fix that? Okay, so.
All right, let's answer the other question first, just to respect the order in which the questions are coming in, because none of the questions are really directly asking about what we're talking about, but that's okay. All right, so it's how to structure flat fees in a family law firm. Okay, so first off, you need to know your cost of goods sold. You need to know your cost of goods sold. Go to a restaurant, order a meal. The person who owns the restaurant probably knows what it costs to put that plate of food in front of you. They know how much it costs to serve the protein. They know how much it costs to serve the starch. They know what the vegetables cost. I brought in the executive chef of one of the hotels where we did a live quarterly meeting once, and he explained that sprinkling pistachios on the dish added a nickel. With pistachios, cost of goods sold, the food cost went up a nickel for the plate. Without the pistachios, he saved a nickel, right? You got to know what it costs to put the food in front of the customer, right? So that's the first thing you got to know. And I don't know if the person who wrote the question knows your cost of goods sold or even knows how to get the cost of goods sold. How do we, Jennifer, someone tell me how, if we wanted to share the lesson on cost of goods sold and how to figure out the cost of goods sold, how could we share that with anyone who's interested?
If the team gets the link, we can post it in the comments, either live or they can do it in the replay.
Okay. Or the person listening can go somewhere and tell us that you want, tell you what, where do they email, Tanya? Who could they email? Not you, but help at How to Manage. What do they do?
At howtomanage.com. I can put it into help at howtomanage.com, and we will find a clip and send it back out to figure out the cost of goods sold.
Yeah. There's a whole lesson on how to do cost of goods sold. Oh, look, he also owns a Subway restaurant. So apply that to husband's law firm. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So figure out the cost of goods sold. Then you break the case down into steps, right? So there's a few different approaches to doing flat fees in a family law firm. One approach to doing flat fees in a family law firm is to only do flat fee for the beginning, which is the due diligence and the launch of the case. And then, so you do the flat fee for the due diligence, you do the flat fee on the education, you do the flat fee on the investigation, you do the flat fee on all the research, you do the flat fee on preparing the complaint, and you do the flat fee on the response to the complaint. After that, it defaults to hourly, because you take the position that, look, we're not in control of what the other side does, right? The other approach, which is the approach that I actually prefer, is to do like we do with How to Manage a Small Law Firm, which is you kind of take the what they do with the actuarial, you take an actuarial approach to it, right? So with How to Manage a Small Law Firm, we manage over 600 law firms, right? We do everything on a monthly retainer. There is no such thing as an hourly bill in How to Manage a Small Law Firm. By the way, if you study your law firm history, you'll know that lawyers never used to charge by the hour until the 1960s, early 1970s. Before that, everything was on a flat fee. Everything was the way that I'm describing it. So client comes in, you have kind of a small, medium, large divorce, right? You talk to them and you fit them for a large, a medium, or a small. And you say, look, based on everything you're telling me, it sounds like what you need is, let's call it a medium. A medium will be, making this up, $2,000 a month, right? For $2,000 a month, we will handle your divorce for as long as it takes, $2,000 a month, as long as these things that we told you, like an underwriting process, right? As long as these things that we told you are true, right? If we discover that you lied to us about these things, we will either excuse ourselves from the case, or we will fit you for a proper size. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay. And then you analyze your cases historically. You can do this on a going backwards basis to look historically at all your cases to say, the cases all range between here and here, right? There is a range on 90% of the cases, range between here and here. And yeah, you get the occasional outlier that's going to take a lot more than $2,000 of work and you'll get quote unquote screwed on that case. But for every case that you end up having to do a lot of extra work, there will be the case that you have to do a lot less work than you had budgeted and planned, and it'll all balance out. And the idea is you're constantly reviewing it, you're constantly measuring it, you're constantly testing it, and this is, in my opinion, a better way to do family law flat fee billing. The third way is the way that a lot of people do, which is they just talk to some other family law attorney and they stand up next to each other and they say, you seem a little taller than me, and I seem a little thinner than you, and I think that you could probably beat me in an arm wrestling match, and I think you could probably beat me in a game of checkers. And so based on, my ego, I'm going to base my flat fee on your flat fee without even knowing if you even understand what cost of goods sold is. That's the wrong way to do it.
Flat fees
All right,
and
but-
hourly fees. Like
Yeah.
people will just be like, "Ooh, my competition. Let me base it on that." I don't know if you saw. We had
We had
another
two
question.
family lawyers come into an event one time, and these were both members. One's still a member, you know her. The other is not a member anymore. And part of the reason that she's not a member anymore is because I had to break the news to them that I'm about to tell you. They came in and they were like, they lived on different sides of the country. They both had family law firms, right? And they just met at one of our events and they like made fast friends. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And they came into one of our events and like, oh my God, we're exactly the same. Our businesses are exactly the same. And we're looking at them. We're like, your businesses are nothing the same. Your businesses couldn't be more different. Your businesses are not the same at all. No. We both have $1 million family law firms. Yeah, that's true. And what else do you think is the same about your law firms? I mean, a church and a house of ill repute. They both have 4 walls and a roof. That doesn't mean they're in the same business, right? I mean, one family law firm was she knew her numbers, she knew her cost of goods sold, she was sitting on a pile of working capital. She ran a tight ship. The other was a $1 million law firm that was losing money every month. Yeah, they both had a $1 million law firm, but I mean, completely different businesses. Yeah, don't base your fees on what your best friend is doing. You got to chart your own course. You got to make your own business plan, which is why I've been begging everyone for 9 days now, to download a free copy of the business plan workbook at howtomanageasmalllawfirm.com/12 days and download your free workbook on how to make a business plan so you can begin next year with an actual plan for how your business is going to work. Benjamin Franklin said, drive thy business or thy business will drive thee. Anyway.
You honestly have some of the most obscure quotes ever.
Benjamin Franklin was the very first American rock star entrepreneur. If there was a Shark Tank, Benjamin Franklin would be like the biggest badass on Shark Tank entrepreneur. He was the original badass American entrepreneur. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
The reason that Benjamin Franklin was able to go to France and get the French government to back the colonies in the war is because he was so rich. For real. He was so rich. He was so rich. He was so wealthy that he was able to bankroll himself to move to France and insert himself in the French hoity-toity rich circle. And he was actually more wealthy than most of the French nobility with whom he was palling around with, and was able to win them over because they all wanted to kiss his ass because he was so wealthy. And he charmed them, and that's how he got the French to enter the war on our side.
I had no idea about that. I knew he was an inventor, obviously. But no, I had no idea he was I did not know that.
You want to know the business he got very, very enormously wealthy in?
Not inventing.
Well, he didn't that yeah, it wasn't inventing. He was in the printing press industry, which I guess is like the modern day internet. He was
Yeah.
he was like an internet entrepreneur of his day, except it was printing presses. And what he did was get this, you ready?
Okay.
He documented processes and systems and procedures for how to run the business of a printing press. And then he franchised it.
That's smart. I mean, okay, well, we're not going to go in there
Right.
because
Anyway, someone's got a question here. I take a long time with prospective clients explaining and listening to them. Explaining and listening to them is part of the problem. I suspect you're doing too much explaining. This is not a law school exam. They didn't ask for a legal education. They don't need to learn about how the law works. What they need is to get clarity on where they are. So E2 Visa Alliance, listen, this is how you do it. Where are you now? So E2 Visa Alliance, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and put in the chat, right? With regard to your law firm today, how is the performance of your law? So when we talk about a law firm, we talk about a successful law firm in terms of financial performance, personal performance, and professional performance. So how much are you able to take out of your law firm today in total owner benefits? All the income you're able to take out of your business today, how much is that? I was trying to role play a sales call with E2 Visa Alliance.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at the question. Where are you today in terms of your immigration situation? How is your current immigration situation affecting you in terms of your money, in terms of your time, in terms of your reputation? You have to educate them about how to think about this stuff before they come in for the sales call. How do you feel about being in the situation you're in with your law firm in terms of your time and your money and your reputation? This is really hard to do in this kind of a setting, but I promise you, we teach hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lawyers how to do this very, very effectively. And I can't even remember how many immigration lawyers we've trained to do this.
Yeah, he's in boot camp with me right now. So next week, he'll be learning all about how to do a sales call.
Okay, well, I'm not going to answer this like this. I'll just let him learn from you. But E2 Visa Alliance, I promise you, we are going to teach you how to sell like a rock star. And not only are we going to teach you how to sell like a rock star, it'll be more comfortable. It'll feel less queasy. You'll feel more comfortable. Your clients will feel more comfortable. You'll have much higher conversion rates. And we're also going to teach you how to teach a non-attorney how to sell legal services for your firm. That way you don't have to be trapped with golden handcuffs in your business.
I think my favorite thing is, and I say this all the time when we're teaching non-attorney salespeople, is at the end of a sales call, when you do it the right way, no matter whether...
Wait. Amy has a question. So as an estate planning attorney, we need to know how much toner costs. This is the person who owns the Subway franchise, right?
It is not. It is a different person.
Right. No, you don't need to know that down to toner costs and paper. Those are fractions of pennies. That's not going to make a difference. If your law firm was, I don't know, when you get to $50 million, we'll worry about toner and paper. Okay. Until then, it doesn't matter. It's nickels and dimes and pennies. The costs that you have to consider are labor costs.
Yeah.
Right. So Amy Jenkins, let's just say for argument's sake that you pay that to do an estate plan. I'm just going to make this up to make it super, super simple. Right. let's say step 1 is a paralegal spends 30 minutes, and then the paralegal hands it off to a junior associate who spends 60 minutes, and then the junior associate hands it to a secretary who spends 60 minutes, who puts 60 minutes of effort into it, and the secretary hands it back to the paralegal who spends 60 minutes, works on 60 minutes on it, and then hands it back to the attorney, to the junior attorney, who spends another 60 minutes. So we got paralegal, 30 minutes. It's like a relay race. It's like a handoff, right?
Yeah.
So Amy Jenkins, just write down, like you're making a list, right?
Think through step by step everything you
Think
do
through
in the
step by step, right? So paralegal, 30 minutes, junior associate, 60 minutes. Then it goes to the secretary for 60 minutes. Then it goes to the paralegal for 60 minutes. Then it goes to the junior attorney again for 60 minutes. You got that, Amy Jenkins? Good. Okay. So let's say that you pay the paralegal, I'm just going to make this up, $40 an hour. So the paralegal is $40 an hour divided by 60 minutes in an hour equals $40 divided by 60 is 67 cents a minute for the paralegal. The junior associate, let's say you pay the junior associate $100,000 a year. I'm just making this up. And let's say you expect to get 1,400 productive hours out of the junior associate for $100,000. So $100,000 divided by 1,400 productive hours
71
is $71 an hour. Just round it up to 70 cents and round it up to $75. And the paralegal is 70 cents and the junior associate is $75 an hour. Oh, $75 an hour. $75 an hour divided by 60. So it's $1.25 for the junior associate. So the paralegal costs you 70 cents a minute. The junior associate costs you $1.25 a minute. The secretary, I don't know, let's just call it, say it's 50 cents a minute. All right, so the paralegal, the first step is 30 minutes at 70 cents a minute. 30 minutes times 70 cents is 30 times 0.70. It's $21. It's $21. No, it's $2.10.
If it's $70 an hour, we use them for half an hour. It's 30.
No, it's 70 cents an hour, 70 cents a minute times 30 minutes is 2,100 cents.
$21.
Oh yeah, 2,100 cents. Yes, $21.
Yeah.
So it's $21 for the paralegal. It's $75 for the junior associate. It's $30 for 30 minutes of the secretary's time. It's $40 for 60 minutes of the paralegal's time, and it's $75 for an hour of the junior associate's time. So this whole product cost $21 plus $75 plus $30 plus $40 plus $75. This product costs $241 cost of goods sold. Round it up to $250. Boom. There's your cost of goods sold. There's your plate cost. Everyone who owns a successful restaurant knows their plate cost. You can figure out your plate cost, your cost of goods sold. It's not that complicated. I promise you it's not that complicated.
And just a note, because I talk to people all the time who do this, if you own the firm and you're doing this yourself, the role that a receptionist should be doing or the role that your paralegal should be doing, use that cost, not what you pay yourself. Because when Arjan does work that I should be doing, then he's doing work I should be doing at a lower rate. When you're doing work that your receptionist should be doing, you're just a really overpaid receptionist. And so when you're figuring out your cost of goods sold, do it based on what you would actually pay someone, not what you pay yourself. Okay. Arjan, the same person Amy, who asked you about the cost of goods sold, was also asking, oh, there it is. She's noticed we've been running a virtual boot camp. She missed the last one this year, but she's wondering if we're going to be doing it again next year.
Yes. So the answer is yes.
Yes.
We do a virtual workshop, a virtual boot camp. It's a 5-week virtual boot camp. It's free. It's free, everyone. It's a free 5-week virtual boot camp. No, I'd rather just keep pushing and complaining about how unprofitable my law firm is and apologizing to my children about all the hours I have to miss because I'm at work because my law firm runs like shit. And I'd like to sit around the bar with all my loser friends bitching about how hard it is to run a law firm. Free 5-week virtual boot camp. No, I wouldn't possibly do that. You see, Tanya, this is like people. Anyway.
So yes, Amy, we are doing it again. If you go to howtomanageasmalllawfirm.com/bootcamp, it will have the dates of our next one and you can actually register there. But you know what? You don't freaking have to wait till next year to do a boot camp. I mean,
Yes.
you can. Yes, she does. Okay, there you go.
There's
There you
only
go.
4 days left in the year, Tanya.
I was going to say, instead of starting a 5-week course, you could come meet us
She
in
fucked
person.
up and missed it last time, but there's still time to catch up now.
Yes, exactly.
Listen, I'm
So
giving Amy a little bit of a hard time. I'm sorry. But like every year we get people who like they miss a quarter and then they get started with us and they're like, God, I wish I hadn't missed a quarter, right? Because it's 90 days, you're never gonna get back. Anyway,
freaking 90 days. Like it's huge.
so where'd you go to get this?
howtomanageasmalllawfirm.com/bootcamp.
howtomanagesmalllawfirm.com/bootcamp or howtomanage/bootcamp.
Yes, or howtomanage.com/bootcamp. Either one
Right.
works. We're good.
And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a conversation with you. It's going to be a real simple conversation. It's all about where you are now, how your law firm is performing financially, personally, and professionally for you today, how you feel about how your law firm is performing for you today, financially, personally, and professionally, where you want your law firm to be financially, personally, and professionally performing for you, 12 to 18 months from now, how you think you'll feel about being in that place. If you keep doing things the way you're doing things, where do you think your law firm is likely to wind up 12 to 18 months from now instead of where you want it to be? And then, we will tell you if we think we can help you or not. If we think we can help you, we will invite you to have a call with one of our members.
Absolutely.
And you got to talk to one of our members before we'll let you in because we need to make sure you're not an asshole. And so we ask you to speak to one of our members, and either one of our members has already referred you and they said, I vouch for this person, they're not an asshole, or we have members who volunteer every quarter to interview prospective new members, and they'll talk to you and they'll answer your questions and they'll be able to say, yeah, I think this is a person who I'd like. Basically, this is the idea. One of our existing members has to be able to say, I'd be more likely to want to show up at a live quarterly meeting or another How to Manage live event if this person was going to be there. If they say, if this person was going to be there, I'd be less likely to go, we probably don't want you in our community. But Amy, you seem like a perfectly nice person based on the text you're typing.
I don't know if you message.
What?
I do. She just wrote, I do know a member or 6.
Good.
So this should be pretty easy. Amy, you can talk to any of them. They'll actually connect you directly with me and I can have this conversation with you offline.
Pick the one you like the best because they will get points for making the referral. We don't give them referral fees. We don't give them kickbacks. We don't give them discounts. What we give them is we give them points, which they can use the points to buy special workshops and special things that you can only buy with points. So that's our big bribe that we give to our members. What our members want as our way of thanking them for referring business to us, is they want more of what we do for them. So
Yeah.
that should tell you something. Thank you, Amy. I'll look forward to seeing you in person sooner than later, I hope. All right, Tanya, it is 5 minutes after the hour, and I was told that it's better to do a tight 60 than drag it on for too long. So, any final words here? Thanks, Amy.
No, nothing. I hope that everyone here is starting their new year off better and looking to help more people. That's it. And be more profitable for it.
All right. So now we get to listen to Carly again. Have you heard the song?
Have I heard the song? Yeah, of course. I listened.
12 Days of Christmas.
I haven't heard the whole thing. I'm only hearing each night because I tend to.
Well, you're going to hear tonight. Right now, you're going to hear a teaser for. Well, first off, let's hear. Today was the 9th night, right?
Today was the 9th night.
So let's hear the 9th night so we can see if we delivered. And then we'll hear.
On the 9th day of Christmas, my friends at How to Manage a Small Law Firm taught me that the kindest and most loving thing I can do for my prospects is to sell them my services.
No, we didn't deliver that at all. We completely missed that entire point.
Well, that's where I started, and then we just went in a different direction.
Let me just say it real quick then. I'm going to wrap this up, right?
Oh.
Your prospective clients have a problem. They're coming to see you because they have a problem. This problem is vexing them. This problem is causing them to lose sleep. They're either losing sleep because this problem is stressing them out and worrying them, or they're losing sleep because this problem is exciting them so much that they can't wait to do something amazing and great with the problem. Like, for example, if you were, doing adoption, or if you were doing intellectual property, for example, right? Your prospective new clients are coming to you with a problem. Sales is all about helping someone get clarity about what's going on in their life, get clarity and get honest with themselves about how they feel about what's going on with this problem or this opportunity. Help them identify and evaluate all the different options that are available to them, and help them make an empowered decision that they will be proud of in the future. That's all that sales is. Even if the decision is not to hire your firm, sales is a service that you do for other people. Sales is actually one of the most loving, caring, thoughtful, considerate things that you can do in a professional setting for another person, because what you're doing is you're helping them get clarity about their situation, helping them get clarity about their options, and helping them make an empowered decision by using by asking them just caring, thoughtful, considerate questions that most people in their lives either don't know enough about to ask, or don't care enough about them to ask, or they're too embarrassed and uncomfortable to ask. But when you learn to do it right, it's a great, great feeling. Sales is a wonderful thing. Sales is something you do for a prospect to show them a path to a better future. There, we've delivered on it. So now play that again.
On the 9th day of Christmas, my friends at How to Manage a Small Law Firm taught me that the kindest and most loving thing I can do for my prospects is to sell them my services.
Even if you don't get paid for your services, you're helping them, you're providing a service clear about their situation, how the situation is affecting them, and what their options are. All right, so let's get the teaser for tomorrow night, and then we'll hear.
On the 10th day of Christmas, my friends at How to Manage a Small Law Firm taught me having documented systems and procedures will save my sanity.
I got to hear that again.
On the 10th day of Christmas, my friends at How to Manage a Small Law Firm taught me having documented systems and procedures will save my sanity.
How did you have Carly actually interview for this job that she came with that voice and the willingness to sing for us?
You should see. Well, you know my interview process. It's crazy.
Yeah, fair enough.
You don't get purple unicorn superstars by doing brown horse, boring, traditional interviewing.
True story.
True. Should we talk about your interview?
No, that is a whole other show, and my therapist is still working with me.
Yeah. All right. So let's hear the whole 10 nights. And Tanya, I will thank you for being a guest and helping out. And I will see you soon.
Yes, you will. Good night.
On the 9th day of Christmas, my friends at How to Manage a Small Law Firm taught me that the kindest and most loving thing I can do for my prospects is to sell them my services. How to bring in the customers I want and repel the ones I don't. I should only make a sacrifice for my business if it somehow improves my life. How to use my calendar strategically so I have a life outside of work and make my law firm a lot more profitable too. Leave my bullshit at the door. How to set better goals, the difference between strategy and tactics, how to defend my standards, and a practical working definition of whether my law firm is successful or not.